Shake, shake. Hey, what's your name?
You want to go with him, Joe?
Citizens United! Right check! One of the things that you can do is show your rage and having your voice being stolen. Write letters
To the United States Supreme Court.
to the United States Supreme Court.
They claim
To be non-political. This is clearly
a political act.
a political act.
Unfortunately,
One of our comrades was just arrested
illegally.
I
I don't know. Having a message. Voicing their First Amendment rights. Here in Grand Central Station. I think New Yorkers. All stripes. Appreciate freedom of speech. We are now going to march and chant and show our anger. Democracy is being stolen to the site of a large pharmaceutical company that not only contributes to politics,
their very policy
kills people every day.
Let's go!
All day, all week, occupy Wall Street. All day, all week, occupy Wall Street. All day, all week, occupy Wall Street. All day, all week.
Occupy Wall Street all day, all week. Occupy Wall Street all day, all night. Occupy Wall Street all day, all week.
Attention all.
Occupy Wall Street all day, all week.
Occupy Wall Street!
Let's march. Let's go. Slow down.
What's going on here? Hey, sister! What's going on?
Corporations are not people. Money is not
Speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Corporations are not people! Money is not speech! Healthcare is a human right! 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 Healthcare is a human right!
Oh, it's Bank of America! Bank of America, bad for America!
Healthcare for 99%.
Ask us how we feel.
About getting old.
About getting old.
Perhaps we should tell them.
Perhaps we should tell them.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
My name is.
My name is
Dr. Linda Bush,
Dr. Linda Bush,
licensed psychologist.
licensed psychologist
In New York.
in New York,
Who works with
primarily
post-traumatic stress disorder,
post-traumatic stress disorder,
many of whom are surrounding us from our NYPD first responders. Thank you for helping us that day. I am now disabled. As of about, well, actually 2006, but 5 weeks ago I closed my practice.
5 weeks ago,
I had no health insurance until August the 1st.
I had no health insurance until August the 1st.
You will see on my arm that it says diabetic.
You will see on my arm it says diabetic.
You will see at my ankles that they are swollen.
You will see my ankles that they are swollen.
I am not retaining water.
I am not retaining water.
I'm at risk of a blood clot.
I am at risk of a blood clot.
I also don't have full use of my hands
I also don't have full use of my hands
because of a neurological problem from a neck injury.
because of a neurological problem from a neck injury.
My life got completely screwed up
My life got completely screwed up
because of the failure of healthcare in this country.
because of the failure of healthcare in this country.
My husband died in 2009 of cancer.
My husband died in 2009 of cancer.
And because of poor health insurance,
And because of poor health insurance,
privately paid health insurance,
privately paid health insurance,
I ended up
I ended up
losing a house,
losing a house,
losing a husband,
losing a husband,
losing 4 times the 6-month emergency fund
losing 4 times the 6-month emergency fund
that an upper middle class family should have.
that an upper middle class family should have.
Everyone that we can see from here to eternity
Everyone that we can see from here to eternity
is one pink slip
is one pink slip
or bad MRI
or bad MRI
from disaster.
from disaster.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
This corrupting donor to our government
This corrupting donor to our government
that has spent millions of dollars on lobbyists every year
that has spent millions of dollars on lobbyists every year
is asking us to share our thoughts and experiences
is asking us to share our thoughts and experiences
about what a wonderful corporation they are.
about what a wonderful corporation they are.
Well, we have a note
Well, we have a note
that we are going to leave for Pfizer.
that we are going to leave for Pfizer.
Here we go. Dear Pfizer,
Dear Pfizer,
we know you
We
spend
know.
millions
we know you spend millions yearly
on lobbyists and campaign contributions
on lobbyists and campaign contributions
so as to keep drug prices
so as to keep drug prices
2 to 4 times higher
2 to 4 times higher
in the U.S. than Canada,
in the U.S. and Canada,
Germany,
Germany, France,
and New Zealand.
and New Zealand.
This makes us angry.
This makes us angry.
Angry. From the 99%. From the 99%. And uneasy.
And uneasy.
And uneasy. Mic check.
Mic check.
My name is Beth.
My name is Beth.
I am with healthcare for the 99%.
I am with healthcare for the 99%. Because Wall Street is occupying healthcare.
I'm interested in this corporate campaign.
I'm interested in this corporate campaign.
My Pfizer called Get Old.
My Pfizer called Get Old.
I'm a healthcare provider for the very old.
I'm a healthcare provider for the very old.
And I have a message for Pfizer.
And I have a message for Pfizer.
Don't bother to get old in this country
Don't bother to get old in this country
unless you're very rich.
unless you're very rich.
The old have skyrocketing statistics for poverty.
We all have skyrocketing statistics for poverty.
20% overall,
20% overall,
30% in New York,
30% in New York,
much higher for minorities.
much higher for minorities.
And yet we are cutting
And And yet we are cutting
their home care, their senior centers, their day programs.
their home care, their senior centers, their day programs.
Because the banks crashed the economy.
Because the banks crashed the economy.
The very old and the very young
The very old and the very young
are the first victims of austerity.
are the first victims of austerity.
If we had a democratic economy,
If we had a democratic economy,
would we vote to close senior centers?
would we vote to close senior centers?
Would we condemn our grandparents to
Would we condemn our grandparents?
to an old age without dignity and decent care?
To an old age without dignity and decent care?
That's what we get with the corporate dominance
That's what we get with the corporate dominance
of politics.
of
That's
politics.
why we occupy.
That's why we
That's
occupy.
why we have to continue to occupy.
That's why we have to continue to occupy.
We charge Pfizer
We charge Pfizer
with using its immense wealth and power
with using its immense wealth and power
to co-opt every democratic institution
to co-opt every democratic institution
that stands in the way of its profiteering.
that stands in the way of its profiteering.
We accuse Pfizer
We accuse Pfizer
of using health as a pretext
using health as a pretext
to control Congress.
to control Congress.
Pfizer is marketing disguised as science.
Pfizer is marketing disguised as science.
They put profits before patient care.
They put profits before patient care.
They have corrupted medicine by buying doctors.
They have corrupted medicine by buying doctors.
They gouge us for our medicines.
They gouge us for our medicines.
They exist to enhance shareholder value only.
They exist to enhance shareholder value only.
They are not a miracle industry.
They are not a miracle industry
Inventing marvelous cures.
inventing marvelous cures.
They invent diseases we didn't know we had.
They invent diseases we didn't know we had.
And repackage lifestyle drugs we don't need.
And repackaged lifestyle drugs we don't need.
They stand in the way.
We need to stand in the way.
They stand in the way of the provision
They stand in the way of their provisions
of universal single-payer health care for Americans.
of universal single-payer health care for Americans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Josh
I'm Josh
from Healthcare for the 99%.
from Healthcare for the 99%.
Pfizer and Big Pharma
Pfizer and Big Pharma
consistently use their profits
consistently use their profits
to undermine democracy
to undermine democracy
by spending
by spending
$230 million
$230 million
in lobbying Congress
in lobbying Congress
with an army
with an army
of 850 lobbyists,
with 850 lobbyists,
half of which
half of which
are former government officials.
are former government officials.
And what do they get
And what do they get
for all that money
for all that money
and all that lobbying?
and all that lobbying?
Ensuring that the laws
Ensuring that the laws
that are passed
that are passed
are not
are not
single-payer,
single-payer,
universal health care,
universal health care,
which would lower the price of medicine,
which would lower the price of medicine,
making it more affordable
making it more affordable
to the people who need them.
to the people who need them.
Instead, we get watered down,
We get watered down,
profit-driven
profit-driven
legislation
legislation
like the Affordable Care Act.
like the Affordable Care Act.
Pfizer and Big Pharma
Pfizer and Big Pharma
got laws passed
got laws passed
that result in
that result in
Americans paying 2 to 4 times
Americans paying 2 to 4 times
the price for the exact same product
the price for the exact same product
that others pay overseas.
that others pay overseas.
Pfizer and Big Pharma
Pfizer and Big Pharma
got legislation changed
got legislation changed
to provide us with all those lovely television ads
to provide us with all those lovely television ads
we just can't get enough of.
we just can't get enough of.
And on top of that,
Despite being one of the most profitable businesses,
despite being one of the most profitable businesses, Pfizer and Big Pharma received millions of dollars in TARP bailout funds. Pfizer and Pharma are the perfect example of the 1% making us pay more than we should for what they're selling, and what they don't put in their pockets, they use to smack us in the face by undermining our own democracy with endless lobbying and collusion. This is how the 1% stacks the deck. So that the chips always fall in their favor. When we say we occupy Wall Street, because Wall Street occupies our healthcare, this is what we mean. We have healthcare for the 1%. We need healthcare for the 99%. We need a truly just and universal single-payer healthcare program. Because healthcare is not a commodity. Healthcare is a human right.
Healthcare is a human right.
Right.
Mic check.
The issue of corporate money in politics is a serious one. It's affecting the health and lives of people not just in this country, but all over the world. Pfizer is one of the many pharmaceutical companies that is lobbying the U.S. for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The Trans-Pacific Partnership is the largest free trade agreement we have ever been negotiating. Within this trade agreement has horrible provisions for access to medicine. If Pfizer gets its way, they will be able to strengthen intellectual property rights for all of their drugs in every single country involved. This is horrible. A lot of these countries, in particular Vietnam and Malaysia, produce generic drugs. We need this to survive. Down with Pfizer. Down with corporate greed. Thank you.
Healthcare is a human right. Healthcare is a human right.